Amanda with the back room, and I really don't even have words right now to describe how awesome this is. I have the very, very talented Mr. Christopher Randolph on the phone. Thank you so much for taking time out of your Saturday to do this.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Amanda. Thank you.
You're an actor and a teacher, and you also write a bit, but acting is your main job.
Yeah, that's right. When I started out as a kid, I always wanted to be an actor. I kind of knew that from about 8 years old on when I started doing school plays. It was like, wow, this is great. You can actually get paid to do this? Fantastic. And so that was the main focus for a long, long time. But I have directed and taught, and I write a little bit.
Do you find the transition from stage to television, or even from a stage to voice acting, a difficult one?
I wouldn't say it's difficult. You do kind of have to switch gears. The great thing about doing theater is you get rehearsal period where you really get to work things out and think things through. And television is completely different. You have almost no time to rehearse at all, and you just kind of got to do it. In film, you have a little more time, but not that much. And voice acting is almost instantaneous. It's kind of fascinating because you don't even have to memorize it.
And I remember you saying, recording for Metal Gear Solid, the script changes a lot, so you really can't become committed to anything.
Yeah, no kidding. You can't lock into the words too much. You do need to lock into the character.
Oh yeah.
And once you do that, then you can be fluid with it, and pretty much whatever they want you to say, you can say.
Yeah, I know being an actor and writing, it definitely changes the way you watch TV. But do you have any guilty pleasure movies or TV shows that you watch?
Sure, of course. It does change the way you watch stuff because you tend to be a little bit more critical, but I tend to gravitate towards stuff that's on cable. I was a huge fan of this thing that just ran on HBO called In Treatment with Gabriel Byrne.
Right.
I thought the acting in that was fantastic. I'm a big fan of the show Dexter, which is on Showtime. But on network, I was totally hooked into Grey's Anatomy for a while. I haven't actually been watching. The strike kind of broke my rhythm with it all. What else do I watch? You know what I really like, and this is sort of a guilty pleasure of mine? There's a show called Medium with Patricia Arquette.
Yes.
And, it's kind of silly, but there's something about it that I really do like a lot. So.
Absolutely. Being a writer, you probably tend to be a little picky about, how it has to be when you actually write. So, do you require a certain atmosphere? Do you have to go in a room and?
I get easily distracted, and so if I'm really writing, I almost can't even have any music playing, and I really need to be kind of alone to do it. The modern computer makes it even more difficult because, of course, the internet is always there to pull you away and suck your time away. But I try not to do that when I'm writing. I really try and be in a sort of a quiet space where I can really sink into what I'm writing.
Right. I kind of do the same thing, and the internet problem is fixed by I actually have two laptops, and one of them is hooked up to the internet, and the other one isn't. And the one that isn't hooked up is the one I usually do my writing on.
That's very, very smart of you, and I might have to do that.
Now I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but the Metal Gear Solid series is kind of big. It's kind of
it's pretty big. I've noticed that.
And especially with Guns of the Patriots coming out, I mean it's a monster thing right now.
It's been really interesting to me because we've been recording that, or it took us over a year to record it. As we got deeper and deeper into it, it more and more dawned on me what a huge thing that this is. very excited for the game to come out. I can't wait to see what the reaction to it is.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, you kind of know how big it is now, but, you know, going back to 1998 when Metal Gear Solid, when you guys were recording the voices from Metal Gear Solid and, you know, you're in the Hollywood mansion and whatnot, you guys really didn't know, like, the impact it would have.
No, we had no idea. We really had no idea at all. And it was, you know, certainly the budget for that was much smaller, and you know, we weren't as comfortable, and we had to deal. You know, we weren't in as good a studio, and all of this stuff has been spoken about before. But it was a real revelation when that game came out, and you know, it got such great reviews, and it was so successful. It was extraordinary. And the other thing is, you know, that was sort of the very beginning of the game era, really, the modern game era.
Right.
And so no one, I think, realized, certainly, you know, the big companies, I don't think, realized what a huge phenomenon this would be. I mean, it is as big as feature film is now.
Yeah.
And no one knew that back in 1998, not at all.
It's a mobile TMD.
Like, do you remember kind of the moment that you realized, or something that happened that made you realize that, you know, this was really, really big and a really big phenomenon?
Well, you know, when it was coming out, I started looking at some of the gamer magazines, and you know, to be honest, I'm not really a gamer. I mean, I appreciate it. And I enjoy it. I'm just very bad at it. I'm not particularly skilled at you know, playing games. I've played the Metal Gear games, but the first Metal Gear game took me just weeks and weeks and weeks to play. So I don't do it all that often, but I did start looking at the gamer magazines, and when I started seeing, you know, reviews talking about this game and how amazing it was, and then I sort of heard how well it was selling, and I realized that it was really an enormous phenomenon. And it is, boy, it's astounding.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I try to keep away from the spoilers and whatnot because I kind of want to be surprised with everyone else I see.
Sure.
But I have come across a few conspiracy theories that people have been dreaming up, and that's always very interesting. I actually came across one the other day that was predicting that Otacon was evil, and
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Which
How interesting.
It really is. But, you know, they kind of compared was it Space Odyssey 2001 and said that that's how they were doing it. But I still thought it was really interesting because, you know, sweet little Otacon being evil. I personally can't see it, but, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be hard to manifest. I don't know. We'll have to see. I think there are definitely, and obviously, as you and I have spoken about, I can't reveal anything, but there are some really kind of fascinating twists and turns in this game that, you know, in addition to the fact that just playing it, that the graphics and the things that you can do are just extraordinary, beyond anything that I've ever seen. But I think that, you know, I think this game is going to keep people very occupied for a long time.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, Guns of the Patriots marks the third game you've done Otacon, and
that's right.
And I imagine, you know, you've become, you know, quite attached to him in the 10 years that you've been voicing him.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, no question. It's funny because you know, the third game was a prequel, and of course Otacon didn't exist, so I didn't work on that game. So it had been 5 years at least since I had done Otacon when they called me for MGS4, and I was actually nervous because I wasn't sure that he was still there, you know. Yeah. But wow, I got into the studio and sort of read the first line, and you know, they do voices. They have to test the mics before they actually record something, and